Good morning, New Vision Center. My name is Reverend Lezli Goodwin. I'm your Associate Minister. And we are in the middle of a 3-week talk series on this book, 7,000 Ways to Listen by Mark Nepo. This is week 2 of the 3. And who was really enjoying this idea of listening through the last week? I've got quite a few messages from people saying, oh, I got the book, or I pulled that book out again, I haven't read it in ages, or I've really been focusing on this idea of listening on the inside of myself. And so that's what we really focused on last week, is this core concept of what it is to listen to the still small voice on the inside of ourselves, and to notice the messages that the universe is giving us all the time in the form of the words of the beautiful people we interact with, in the form of what book we happen to pick up, or a bird that flies by. Or I spent quite a long time yesterday watching my dog be really a little too fascinated with the hose in the backyard. Bobby was cleaning our pool filters, one of those really exciting weekend chores. And this dog was so fascinated by the water, he wanted to bite it, he wanted to lick it, he wanted to talk to the neighbor dogs about it. This dog missed not a thing, and I thought, how many times am I missing the heart of what's going on around me because I'm so focused on what I think I'm supposed to be doing instead of just being present. Now, luckily, Bobby had the power washer, and I just got to sit in a chair and watch all of this unfold. I'm very helpful that way. When we let ourselves stop, different things become available to us. And what we may notice is that an urge, an idea, a push from the inside rises up. And it can be anything as small as I need to call my sister, to as big as whatever the biggest thing you can think of. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to change careers. These ideas rise up in us, right? And it apparently arises in like these 3 people. They were not. Everybody else is a little quiet. These things rise up in us, and we can have a tendency to go, no. Right? It rises up, no. Too hard, too much, not enough training, not enough skills. I don't know how. It's going to be hard. It's going to be scary. I could never. Maybe Trudy could do that, but I could never. Anybody can relate to these thoughts? So this talk is called The Improbable Path of YES, because there's no point listening if we're not going to acknowledge and move toward that which comes through when we listen. Take a breath. People say to me all the time, I don't know why everybody isn't breaking down the doors of MVC. We should have 4,000 people in our sanctuary. First of all, we're going to need a bigger sanctuary for that to happen, which can happen. We can do that. But I'm never quite as surprised, because the thing is, science of mind asks a lot of us, doesn't it? We have to listen, and then we have to be obedient to that which we hear. Well, what if I don't wanna? We don't have to. We don't have to. Unless we really want the thing that's rising up. If we want it, only we can claim it. So as we're talking all year long, we're talking about this theme, our beautiful theme, Every Path Leads Home. And we're talking about these sorts of paths like spiritual study and sacred service and personal responsibility, these different ways we can grow ourselves. Some of them are organizational, some of them happen in community, and some of them happen simply on the inside of our own selves. But where can a path never take us is where we will not step. So let's look at what specific paths we're talking about with today's message. We're going to be talking about the path of communion, which is that listening on the inside of ourselves aspect we're talking about. We're talking about personal responsibility, which is the willingness to follow that yes. And we are talking about self-acceptance, because there is a certain amount of self-acceptance that's necessary if we're going to move in any new directions in our life. If we think that only the best people, smartest people, tallest people, sometimes it comes down to tall for me because I'm pretty short, the whateverist people get the grace of the divine, get the power of this presence that we call God, that we call Spirit. If we think only the deserving people get access to that, then what that really is permission to just kind of hide. Just hide underneath, I don't know, a shell. Don't look at me, don't pay attention to me. I'm nothing important, I'm nothing special. But if we believe what we say we believe here, which is that every single sentient being is an expression of the one presence, the one power, the one infinite reality, whatever your favorite name is, I can't conceive of an infinite reality that cares what we call it. Carlos, that's Mark's favorite, Carlos. I lean into sweet spirit, Mark prays to Carlos, it's all good. If we really believe that all sentient beings are an expression of the one, I have shocking news for you. You are an expression of the one. Because you exist, right? And it really is this, either we believe it or we don't thing. Take a breath. I emphasize this not to call you out if you fall on this stumbling path sometimes, because we all do. I emphasize it because there's a certain amount of help that it does to our brain when we affirm over and over again what we believe to be true. If Spirit is all there is, if God is all there is, and we exist, we have to be made out of it. God, it's not, the world isn't made of God and saran wrap. The world is made of God as saran wrap and some other stuff. There isn't anything else to be made of but this thing that we call Spirit. So if we are that, do we have any place to be hiding under a bushel and pretending like we're not? No. All right, so we're going to tackle this idea of yes from that perspective. But Lezli, I can hear you. Your thoughts are very loud. But Reverend Lezli, it's hard. Oh, I know, my friends. Let's look at what Mark Nepo has to say about it in his book. He says, in deep and unexpected ways, saying yes is a form of listening that brings who we are and what we experience into true meeting. Saying yes is the beginning of all flowering. Who we are, the true incarnation of infinite Spirit, and what we're experiencing, our actual life, can only come together in the place of yes. Oh, but Reverend Lezli, what if I don't know how? Any people who don't know how? Oh boy, do I have news for you. At the beginning, none of us know how. In the beginning, we never know how. If we know how, it's not the beginning. Right? Your first day of painting is not the day you graduate from art school. It's not even the day you graduate from your Bob Ross VHS painting training plan. Yay, Bob Ross. I'm modeling myself after him these days. When the idea comes up and it's new enough to get the yes, it's always this brand new out of nowhere idea. It is the most natural thing in the world to think, well, I could me? I don't know how to do that. No one knows how to do it at the beginning. But if we say yes, the next step follows. So in this wonderful book, Mark Nepo talks about this gentleman who got a message. He was a man who was the son of freed slaves. It's the 20s in Tennessee. And he was a hospital janitor for 25 years. And he had never done an artistic thing in his life. And he says God told him, Jesus specifically told him, we all get it in the form that it makes sense to us, right? Jesus tells him, you are to carve limestone. And he's like, don't know how to carve limestone. And in his inside of himself, in the altar of the Most High inside himself, the voice tells him, you've got a railroad spike, you've got a hammer, you got some limestone. There's something to praise God in that rock. Find it. So he took his railroad spike, and he took his hammer, and he chiseled out an angel. And he thought, well, that worked out nicely. I suppose I'll do another one. And God inside him says, yes, do more. Yes, do more. Make some tombstones. Make some tombstones for the people of your church. Okay, I will do that. And he's carving Jesuses, and he's carving angels, and occasionally like a lizard-shaped thing that he's like, I don't know, God told me, carve this lizard. He's carving. It's now the 30s. He's been at this for about 5 years, and people discover beyond his little neighborhood what he's doing. His name is William Edmondson. And you see his very interesting, beautiful, what they would call naive art or outsider art. It was really the beginning of that movement where people were beginning to recognize that this folk art that had a very different appearance to what we would consider traditional Western art and was very influenced by African and African American folk culture had this amazing value. And people would talk to him. They would say, William, when did you know you were an artist? And he said, well, I don't know nothing about being an artist. I just know God told me to carve out the limestone and to find things that would praise God in the limestone. And in 1936, he became the first African-American artist to have a solo exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Because he said yes. He knew he didn't know how. Did it matter? No. He trusted that the same voice that told him to carve would tell him how to carve, would tell him what to carve, and that it would work out beautifully. There was no, I don't have the right tools. You have a railroad spike and a worn hammer. And people started bringing him scrap limestone. He didn't even buy the limestone. And he changed the face of American art forever. He opened the doorway to infinite artists and in a completely new style. We can't wait until we're trained or until we're qualified to start. Even pursuing training or qualification is a start. All we have to do is say yes and take the one step in front of us. We can do this, right? We have to bring who we are and what we experience together to fully express the truth of ourselves. But Reverend Lezli, you say, so many questions. You just think them so loud at me. But Reverend Lezli, what if it's not well received? What if people don't like it? What if, unlike William Edmondson, nobody likes my cake, sculpture, book, hula dance, whatever the thing is that we're saying yes to? What if it doesn't sell? What if I don't get the promotion? What if no one loves me? What if? Oh. Better question. Better question than what if it's not well received? What if it's not about the outcome? What if it was never about the outcome? I realize I've weakened my argument by telling you the really good outcome of the last guy's story. But if we could have William here today and were to ask him, was the point of all of this to get an art show? No. Was the point of all of this to have people like your sculptures? No. He said the point of all of this was God told me to, so I did it. And it felt good to do the thing that Spirit told me to do on the inside of me, so I did more of it. And the more I did, the better it felt. It wasn't about how anybody received it, how anybody felt about it, except for himself and his relationship with Spirit. Life is about the process. It's about the journey. It's about the path. That path, every path leads home. It's about saying the yes and doing the thing, not about what happens. That was never any of our business anyway. And in case you don't believe me, I have an expert that we've got a little video from. Let's see what he says.
Sometimes I struggle with my sense of purpose. I'm like, why am I here? Does anything I do actually even matter? And I was trying to figure it out, and I was tripping about it, and then I had this little blob revelation. I am a rock in the pond of existence. Some unknown mystical force has picked me up and flung me into the water, and I'm spending so much time worrying about how big my splash is going to be that I forget to look around and be like, whoa, I am a rock that is flying through the air. A literal flying rock. There were a trillion other rocks that could have been picked up and tossed into this weird anomaly of an experience, and it got to be me. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the world is too good at making us believe that we have to do more and be more and want more and have more, when the beauty isn't in the purpose, it's in the process. Who gives an F about a photo finish splash? Just try to enjoy flying through the air for a sec. If you blink, you'll miss it. And I guess that's part of the fun. I love you so much. Bye!
I love that little blob. That to which we are called is always handled by Spirit. And the outcome never matters. It's about being true to ourselves. It's about acknowledging that who we really are, we're a rock flying through the air. We are expressions of the divine brought into manifest form in a time and a place where we have the resources and the education and the opportunity and the technology to empower ourselves and one another and anybody else who wants this message out in the miracle land of beyond even our online campus, everyone everywhere who wants to know the truth of themselves. Every time we say yes, we are putting a drop in the bucket of the greatness of life. We are raising the vibration of humanity. Every time we are a yes to who we really are. Every time we feel, I want to play baseball, and we go play baseball. Every time we feel, I want to write a book, and we go work on that book. Every single yes, from making a sandwich to getting a PhD, every time we follow that impetus, we are choosing to be in the process as opposed to pulling ourselves out of it and waiting for something else to fix our experience. We don't need to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with us. We only need to bring who we really are and our experience together in one place. But Reverend Lezli, you say, so persistent. What if I say the yes and I do the thing and I don't know what comes next? Ever happen to anybody? I did the one thing. I got the Bob Ross tapes. Now what? Guess what? You're not supposed to know. Oh, isn't that relaxing? Whew, you didn't miss the update. You weren't supposed to know. We get the information at the pace that we get the information. You all have heard us talk about divine right timing? That's divine right timing. Is it annoying? Yes. It's okay. It's okay to be annoyed by it. I mean, we tell the truth here. Sometimes it is. We would like for everything in life to come with a manual with a very detailed outline of exactly what's going to happen and when, right? Right, Bali travelers? We want those details. We want every single thing spelled out. We want contingency plans. We want to know what's going to happen, what's going to be expected of me, how much is it going to cost, where's my driver, what's his name? We all do. We all do. And we're not really supposed to know because it's a process. It's an adventure. We're on a path. When we have done what we can do, and we can do no more until there's more information, where do we go? Oh, I heard it. I heard it way in the corner. We go to the prayer chair. Because where do we get the next round of information? In the listening. So we listen, we hear, we say, yes, we do, and then we listen. And if we don't know yet, according to the wisdom of the wonderful Reverend Penny Masick, who said this to me somewhere around 100,000 times when I was in ministerial school, if you don't know yet, go back to your prayer chair. If it's not clear yet, keep listening. The answer will always come. The urge will always come. But we have to be listening. It's like the breathing thing. You know the breathing thing? You can breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Sandy's starting to get a little purple. Breathe in. We got to breathe in sometimes. We can't just tell the universe what we want all the time. It can't be, God, here's my order. I want this and 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 this this and this and just the endless order. We sometimes have to pause and listen to what Spirit has to say to us. Oh, so it's a rhythm. It's like breath itself. We breathe in, we hear, we breathe out with our action. And then we breathe in to hear again. It's like that classic example of the headlights in a dark country road. You know, headlights, even modern, really, really good headlights in perfect visibility, only shine about 350 feet in front of us, and the rest is darkness. But 350 feet is plenty to know how to drive that next minute. And then the lights have moved forward and you see the next step and the next step and the next step. We don't need to see beyond this step. We just need to trust that the next step will come. All of the hows, all of the details, that magical outline, I promise you, it gets filled out. The details come. But they don't come from us running around like a bunch of squirrels trying to gather the information from the outside world. It comes from the inside out if we pause and listen. So this is what Ernest Holmes has to say about it. Just keep right on knocking at the doorway of your consciousness until every no becomes a yes, every negation an affirmation, every fear a faith. You cannot fail if you remain steadfast. And how do we knock at the door of our consciousness? We listen. We take it into meditation, we take it into prayer, and we listen. And bit by bit, every no becomes a yes. Every negation becomes an affirmation, and every fear truly does become faith. And so this is the invitation, that we continue with last week's listening. And as the impetus rises, whatever it is, we say yes, we take the step that is clear, and then we return to the listening and let that cycle, let that breath be what carries us, be what tells us what is ours to do, how to walk out this thing called revealing the power of love, called living spiritual teaching in real time in our own lives. I look forward to listening with you, and so it is. And so let us anchor this into prayer. Oh, how good it is to remember this one infinite presence, this divine beingness that we call Spirit, the beloved one, God. To know that it is everywhere present, in, through, and as all life, all creation. That it's the truth of my being. It's the truth of the being of everyone within the sound of my voice, now and through all time and space. And what I know for each one of us is that whatever is on our heart and mind, Spirit is already on it. Whatever we seek to become, Spirit is already laying out the pathway for that to become possible, inevitable. For we are called to that which raises up the vibration of the world. And so I just speak a word knowing peace on this planet, more than enough of every needed thing for every beloved. Health and wholeness, ease and grace, abundance pouring forth. That each is held in love and loving kindness, right as we each are. That it ripples out from this community into the greater community to surround the whole planet and beyond in this cloud, this mist of loving kindness and compassion and generosity. So grateful I am to know that each one of us are held in this love. I call it all good as I release this word into the action of universal law, trusting it is done as we say, and so it is.